Hello everyone. In this presentation, we will focus on Module 2, Learning from Our Environment and Children's Developmental Characteristics. I have to record this presentation in two different parts due to the size limit on video file uploads in Canvas. This is part 1 of the presentation. Your assigned readings for this module are Chapter 2 from the book The Diverse World, with the title, We're All Learning, and Chapter 2 from the book The Anti-Bias, with the title, Children's Identity Development. There are also two other handouts. A 2-page handout by Stacy York, which focuses on steps on development of prejudice, and 4 explanations for pre-prejudice behavior in children. And also a handout on Yuri Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory that I have written. Remember to take notes on all your readings from the text and this presentation. Okay, let's get started. Listen to this quote by James Baldwin. Not everything that's faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. In your readings, you will hear many references to these key terms: stereotypes, prejudice, discrimination, isms. Well, let's briefly review the following key terms and their definitions before we move on. Stereotype. Well, what is a stereotype? What are some of the stereotypes that you have heard? Get a paper and a pencil and jot down some of them. A stereotype is an oversimplified generalization about a particular group. Stereotypes could be a set of characteristics or traits that are associated to a group which are overgeneralized. For example, girls are not good in math. That's a gender stereotype. Or poor people are lazy, which is a stereotype about class. Generalizations remove person's individuality and assume that a single person is a valid representative of a group, even though we know very well that there is always diversity within each group. Stereotypes form the basis for prejudice. Prejudice is when negative opinions and attitudes are added to stereotypes. Now, prejudice can lead to discrimination, which is unequal treatment of someone based on their group membership. Discrimination involves action based on prejudices. Now, when discrimination is on the basis of race, it's called racism. When discrimination is on the basis of gender, it's called sexism. When discrimination is on the basis of ethnic group, it's called ethnocentrism. When discrimination is on the basis of social class, it's called classism. When discrimination is regarding people with disabilities, it's called ableism. When discrimination is against LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals, it is called heterosexism. The discrimination is not only an individual act. Of course, any act of prejudice and individual acts of discrimination like racism or sexism are wrong and painful. But there's also a systematic problem. Ism and discrimination refer to also social and institutional power. The ism is built into the systems that people live and work in. It manifests itself in the institutions including housing, education, employment, health, and criminal justice. It is a system of advantage for some people and groups. In addition, the groups with most power benefit from the system. An example is racial profiling with organizational power. Another example is the system of education. Educational practices and policies continue to discriminate against some children, especially the ones who live in low-income communities. Studies show that economic status and educational opportunities are interconnected. Many schools in low-income communities provide limited educational resources, much less rigorous curriculum, like fewer high-level classes to prepare students for college. We will be continuing our discussion about this part in Module 3 next week. But in Part 2 of this presentation, we will focus on children, stereotypes, and prejudice.